Hey everyone, this is Kestrel again, Senior Strategist over here at Seguno, and today is another but very special episode of our Teardown series. So today we wanted to try something a little bit new. I'm going to review 3 separate Shopify merchant messages. We've got somebody from apparel, accessories, jewelry, and then tea. And then when I'm done with that, we're gonna spin a spinning wheel, and then we're actually gonna do a little bit of a makeover for one of the messages. We have our email design guru, Catherine, is gonna go through one of the messages and then kind of reimagine it a little bit with some of the recommendations that we have. This is something new that we're trying. We thought it might be kind of fun to spin a wheel and see who gets the little makeover. And I still think there's a lot of valuable lessons that could be learned for anybody who's selling on Shopify with some of the tips and tricks that we're giving away here in these reviews, because even if we're talking about someone else's brand, you could always pick up some ideas. So let's go ahead and get started. Up first, we have here Twisted Sage Studios. And, one of the first things that I noticed, which was a little bit tough to see right off the bat, but it's something that is one of those technical points, is I noticed as I click and drag, everything in here is an image and you're not actually using any plain text or any buttons. And so something that I would recommend is just your email service provider should be able to do this. If you're using Seguno, it's just a new section, but go ahead and add in buttons because they're just gonna look better. They look more polished, and they will render whether the images are turned on or off, so it gives you that extra little oomph if somebody happens to have images turned off. And like I said, they genuinely end up looking really nice in there. And also you have text as an image too. I'm not necessarily, I don't think that's needed. I think you could just have text in there, and that could even save you some time. So you don't have to go make the images and then upload them. You can just type them in. So if you have an edit, it's really easy to make, or at least I know that's how it is for me. The other thing, and more on the strategic side, is that these look like, pretty important items. They're high price pointed items. And so when you have that, I think that you really want to make sure to spell out what problem they solve or what unique solution they bring to the table, and then also why you're poised to be able to doing that. And I'm not saying you need to have like paragraphs and paragraphs, but I do think a little copy text right below the product image or below the shop now to talk about what these products are, what they're made of, why they're so good. And I would say, like 1 line of text, 2 line of text, doesn't need to be a huge thing, but something just to make sure that people understand what the item is at the minimum, and then be able to click through to learn more about the item on your product page. I would also maybe experiment. I love the images where I can see the product really up close because they're beautiful and I can see all the intricacies. I would maybe recommend that with the top product as well, the activator pendant, because right now, just with my eyes and like how big the email is, and if it was on a phone, I just wouldn't be able to see it up close as well. So I would make sure to have like some big, beautiful images, and maybe even consider showing them like on a model, like somebody wearing them, because that could also help people visualize like, oh, that's what I could do with them. All right, so let's move on to the next one. All right, next up we have Panarose. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I try so hard. One thing that I noticed right at the beginning that I wanted to point out is that you are doing all caps in your subject line. And don't get me wrong, like there's a time and a place for all caps. Like sometimes it's a big sale or like it's something funny or whatever. Like there are situations where all caps are okay. It's just, you pick and choose. Like you're not gonna, like if you're chatting to somebody, like a friend, you're not gonna write in all caps, are you? Like that's just not something you do on a regular basis. So be really careful with how often you use it, because a lot of people do associate it with spam a little bit. I want to be careful about using that, because I don't believe that just by using all caps alone is gonna put you in the spam folder. It's not. However, just using all caps is a very loud statement. So just something to consider, just thinking about it. Now, what I've seen that I think you've done that I really love is kind of the stylized photo layout of the different jumper images. I really like that. I think that that's really strong, and you're using kind of the colors of within the photos and the layout that you chose. They work really well together. A couple of small things. I would take the Shop Now button out of the image and just make it a button itself. Again, people love a button. It looks great on mobile. You just heard me say all this, yada, yada. But it is important. Two, I would also maybe go over this with like Grammarly or some other grammar tool just to make sure that all the grammar works all right. I'm definitely not a grammatician. That's a word. But there's a couple sentences in here that seem a little awkward to me. And the PS up here at the top doesn't really make sense because normally PS comes at the bottom of a message as kind of like an extra thing. So I'm not quite sure what the PS is doing in there. And then aside from that, I really, I clicked through this message, and I really like what you guys are doing as far as, you've got a lot of sustainable, your products are sustainable. They're made from fibers that already exist. You've got a big thing about your ethics. Down here at the bottom of the message, you even listed out, you're a part of the 1% for the planet. I think that this bottom part has some strong information in it, and I would actually consider going back and looking at the design growth lab that we just did about footers that function, and consider maybe incorporating this into some icons that are stacked together, or just more of a footer that functions, that looks a little bit more streamlined. So you can see, this is just the slides, which you can get, or you can watch the recording, but you could list out some of the things that you guys are doing in a little bit more of a stylized way. And I think that might just tighten up the brand presence a little bit, which could be really nice. Super simple. You can do it in Canva, very easy. You might try, so you've got new arrivals and accessories. I would consider, if that's important to you, maybe putting like at the top 3 like product lines or collections up here at the top. So I can see here you've got in the shop, you've got, tops, knits, I would maybe pick out like your top 4 and put them up here at the top and see what that does. I think it will improve your overall clicks. And then finally, just be careful about how much you're repeating certain words. So you say hand knitted here and you say hand knitted here. You might want to put sustainable here and then hand knitted here, just so it doesn't look too repetitive. But overall, the products look great. Your site looks really snazzy too. You've got, some great imagery on here. Definitely the product itself looks really good. And, overall, I think the message looks nice. Just a few tweaks to help it flow together a little bit more. All right, now we've come up to the tea thief, which I've got to say, I love tea. Drink tea all the time. Always drinking some tea. And the tea thief is a great name, and the fox is very cute. I love it. Actually, I would love to see your logo more up here so I can have some brand recognition right away up at the top. This animated GIF that you put together here is very cute, lots of fun, very like eye-catching. It's gonna look great on a phone. So it looks like events are important to you, when and where you're gonna be. If so, I would consider putting more emphasis on when and where you're gonna be so people can find it really quick. And I don't know if you need these images from the events themselves, because they're nice for the event, but they don't serve you so much. So what are you gonna have at the event, and why should they come see you at the event too? Like, it doesn't necessarily need to be all about you, but there's a reason why people subscribe to you and open this up. Like, what's going on? So I'm just not sure if we need these 2 images. And then 6 top teas for cold and flu. Love that, especially for your time of year. Like, that's coming up in the colder seasons. So I know that's definitely top of mind, and tea always comes to mind with that. So I think that we can maybe rejigger a little bit of this as well, or maybe even make this its own dedicated message, because you kind of have a couple things going on in here. Like, you've got your new plastic-free packaging, love it. You've got where you're going to be, great. And then you've got teas and teas for cold and flu season. That's 3 really powerful things. If you wanted to, you could make it a third, like a tertiary call out here. You could also make it its own message and call out the specific teas that you think, or specific tea recipes that people might want to have. Because I would imagine that's actually a pretty big deal right now. Like I mentioned before, it being in the Southern Hemisphere. So you feel free to make a more weather appropriate message like that. Okay, so those were the 3 Shopify merchants that we've covered today. Now I'm going to spin a wheel and we're going to choose one to go ahead and implement all those best practices that we just talked about and remake the message and see how it could look. Let's go ahead and spin that wheel. So dramatic. Woo! And it's the tea thief. All right, so at this point, I'm going to pass it over to Catherine. Catherine, why don't you take a look at this message and then the best practices that we would want to implement with these guys and see what kind of message could we come up with for them. Catherine, take it away.
Hey there, it's Catherine with an exciting email build up where we take a message that you've submitted for Teardown and build it up and out in the Seguno app to show you all of those best practices, tips, and tricks in action. So this message comes from the Tea Thief. Thank you so much for submitting this message for review. Let's just take a quick look at the message you submitted. So first up, I'm noticing we don't have a logo in our header. Eek! So that might be something that I would recommend just so we can get that brand recognition right away. Okay, so next I see we're leading with a headline. Have you seen our new packaging? So this is right around Earth Day, so you're speaking to an awesome product update and you've got this great GIF here. Okay, I love this. Bright colors, super engaging, a gorgeous product shot. Really well done here. I do find myself kind of searching for a place to click at this point, so I might consider adding in a button just to kind of fill out this hero section and really give your customers a place to click. Okay, so next in terms of content areas, I'm seeing where to find you this weekend, lots of information here. Okay, this is good stuff. Definitely got a lot of details here in this text, and it looks like they might be duplicated in the images beneath. So I think we're going to try and restructure this area a little bit because it seems like they're getting a lot of your email retail space, almost more than your own brand is. So I think there's a way we can reorganize this that's still going to grab your customers' attention and get them engaging with you in person. Okay, and then it looks like our next section for content is a tutorial. That's so clever. I love the name of this, and it's 6 top teas for colds and flus. Okay, so this is really relevant, timely information. So I'm definitely digging that. We've got a really beautiful image here to accompany it and some supporting copy. Okay, this is speaking to what I'm gonna find kind of in this tutorial, in this blog content. Again, I'm looking a little bit for a place to click, like where do I need to go to interact with and find this content? So I think we're gonna add some buttons and kind of restructure this area too. Overall though, really strong message. I think we've got a lot of great content in here. So I'm excited to rebuild this and incorporate some best practices. So let's jump into the app. Okay, so I've just got a blank newsletter here, just totally starting from scratch. The only things that I've got filled out are the subject line, which is new 100% plastic-free packaging. I've got a fun recycle emoji, and I've also added in some preview text. So that's the text that immediately follows the subject line. It's going to support it. And here I've just chosen to say, tea that's good for you and good for the planet, because that feels relevant to our content. Right now, it's just my shop name that's filtering in. Seguno users, you know that it's going to be your shop name that automatically populates there. So we just want to fill in this header section and kind of show you how easy it is to add a logo. It's as easy as select image, and then I'm just grabbing the logo that I found on your site, which is awesome because it's pretty much already optimized for email. It's really nice and horizontal, super clean, so it fits right in with our background, and we're good to go. Taking a quick peek at that logo width, that's feeling good, and we can check and see right away how it's going to look on mobile. Okay, that's looking great. So I'm feeling good about our header section now. We've got our logo in there. Let's go ahead and move into the email body. Okay, so in your message, you started with some copy up top, and then you came in with that GIF underneath. And I'm going to suggest that we kind of do the reverse, where we lead with the GIF as the hero, and then we add some supporting copy and a call to action. So let's go ahead and add in our image. Okay, perfect. I'm just going to go ahead and select that GIF right here. Easy. Okay, cool. So we've dropped that in. Oh, it's so exciting. I just love what you've done here. So we do want to make sure to add in our alt text, of course. So we're going to have the same copy, just kind of describing what's happening. So same delicious tea, 100% plastic-free packaging. Okay, perfect. And we do want to make sure that this is linking back to your site as well. So definitely recommend all images in your message be linked, because folks do love to click on an image from time to time. So want to make sure that that's in there. Okay, so next up, let's go ahead and add that supporting copy. So I'm going to pull in a rich text section. All right, easy peasy. And I liked what you had for kind of like your headline and your copy there. Have you seen our new packaging? That feels like a strong headline to me. Perfect. Now, the only recommendation I might make about your copy here at this point is that we do want to make sure, especially if we're sharing something that's product related, that we're always looking for opportunities to add value for the customer. Why should this be important to your customer? Why should they care about recyclable tea containers and compostable inners? We want to make sure that connects back to them and connects back to like the why. So here I'm just going to kind of borrow from that preview text that I used before. The why is so you can enjoy tea that's good for you and good for the planet. Okay, perfect. Let's scroll down and take a look. All right, I think we want to center align everything, and that's feeling really good to me. Okay, so now for that call to action. And again, I'm recognizing that my GIF is linked, so that's a linkable image, but people just love a button. I don't know how to explain it. I think part of it is because your email really works almost as like a billboard. And anytime you can give directions to people, they're gonna jump on that. So our call to action is just an easy way to direct people to exactly where they need to go. So in this instance, I'm thinking we just want to get them shopping. We want to get them to the site. That's what it's all about. So I'm going to go ahead and add a button in here. Okay, perfect. And just want to make sure that that's linking to the site. And I think I want to have it just going ahead and linking to all teas, so they're just taken straight to shop. And shop now is nice, quick, that's compelling button copy. But I'm going to be a little bit more specific and say shop all organic tea. All right, I feel like this is a little bit too much padding here, so I'm just going to unclick my include padding. And that's feeling really good to me. And right now we've got a foolproof layout, right? So we've got our headline built into a really engaging GIF. We've got supporting copy, and we've got a strong call to action. The thing that I think that would really kind of help here is to see some more of your beautiful products and add in a secondary merchandising section, just to show some more products in this message. So that's what I'd like to add. So I'm going to add in my product list. Perfect. And I'm going to select 2 products per row. I'm going to lose my heading here, and I want to say show button, and I want to align my text center. Now I'm going to add some products. So because Seguno is built within Shopify, I can just pull my products in right here. So it honestly is as easy as that click. Select another product. And I'm thinking I want a 4-product merchandise block. That's going to feel really good to me in this section. So I'm going to add this one and add this one. Great. So now I've got 4 products, totally shoppable. This is just feeling really nice to me. It's bringing in some more color. All of that's feeling great. And now we've got, way more of your product and your branding in the message. Which is really what we want. I do want a little bit more space here, so I'm just going to pop in a quick spacer. All right, medium should be good. I'm just going to pull that up here. Okay, great. That's feeling really nice to me. All right, so for our next section, I know we want to speak to a couple of things in the message, right? We want to link back to a tutorial where we're sharing, what teas are best for cold and flu season. So we definitely want to get that content in there. And then we also want to make sure that we're sharing with people where they can find you this weekend. So those are the next two content sections that we want to add. So I'm going to go ahead and get that tutorial in next. And in your original message, you had it with the image on top, and then some copy underneath, and kind of a headline in there. To kind of save space and just really kind of simplify that layout, I'm thinking we'll have the image on one side, we'll have the copy and a call to action on the other. And in Seguno, those are automatically going to stack on mobile, so they're going to be optimized for mobile right away. So let's just go ahead and add that in and see how that looks. That's the image with text section. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to select my image here, this beautiful, cozy cup of tea, and then kind of go back into your message to reference that copy. So it's tutorial, 6 top teas for colds and flu. I feel like that's an awesome headline. And then we had some supporting copy here. Just gonna go ahead and grab that. All right. Just streamline that heading a little bit. This is feeling really good. And then for our button, I think we definitely want to say, linking to the tutorials. I think you had it linked. Yes, okay, you had it linked here in the image. So we're going to borrow that, pull that link in here, and we'll say, see the tutorial. Awesome. Make sure we add some alt text to our image. And we are all set there. I think I want to add in this spacer, so I'm just going to, bump up that padding in between our product and our tutorial section here. But so far, I'm really feeling like things are coming together. Okay, so the last section, the way you had it was text, kind of sharing the details of your events, and then a couple images, showing your partners there, kind of showing the locations perhaps. I think we can simplify that just by using our event section here in Seguno. So I'm going to go ahead there, grab that event list, and this is going to make it super easy. So upcoming events, I think you used in your message the term where you'll find us this weekend. I love that. So we're going to go ahead and grab that in there. And I know these events happened in the past, but this would be where you could go in and adjust that date format, change your time, but we can go ahead and add in our event title. So this is the Buddha's Birthday Multicultural Festival. And we can add in our location. You guys are in New Zealand. All right, perfect. We're going to get that second event here as well. So the General Collective Botanical Market. Great. And where it's located. Got that in there. Great. So now we've got both of our events here in the message. So that's feeling really good too. And just want to duplicate this spacer here. Awesome. So now we've added in that extra little bit of padding, so stuff is feeling nice and balanced, really well-rounded. Okay, I'm liking the direction of this message. There's only one last tip that I might have, which would be that we could add a little bit of branding into the footer just to kind of strengthen that section and build a little bit more brand recognition into your message. So let's pop here into our theme settings, go to colors, change the color of our footer, make it that nice brand teal. And then the last thing that I want to do is add an image. I'm thinking an image of that fun fox, because you've got this really fun fox as part of your branding. So I'm going to add in one last image section here. And what I love about the Canva integration here in Seguno is that, if there's an idea that I have, I can just test it out. I can build it out here in Canva, explore it in terms of like the sizes, the colors, like what do I want to include, what do I not? You can just design and keep tweaking it here within Seguno. So that's what I've done. I built out this image here in Canva. So this is this fun, just kind of like Again, a little piece of branding in the footer just to kind of strengthen it, support it. Our fun little fox, but this is something that if I wasn't crazy about the background color or wanted to try something else or try a different image, I can just edit it right here within Canva. And it saves it right here for me, which is awesome. So I'm gonna add some image description, just gonna simply say the tea thief. Excellent. Do want to make sure that that links back to your site. Always, always. I'm gonna add in a little bit more space here in between our event and this footer. Okay, I gotta say, overall, I'm really loving it. Let's take a look at mobile. I love that I can see the mobile view right here within the editor. So we've added in a header. We've got our GIF working as that hero image. We've got some supporting copy and a strong call to action so folks know where to click right away. We added in this for product merchandising section, which I love. So it's showcasing your beautiful product. It's adding even more color to the message, and it's really helping to bolster your brand. Next up, we've got, a really nice link to some content that you've got on your blog with that tutorial. So I think that's brilliant. So, we've got a strong call to action there so folks know where to click to get more of that content. And then we're sharing really simply where folks can find you this weekend using our event list section here in Seguno, so that those details are really nicely organized. You can even go in and add buttons if you wanted someone to RSVP or get more information. You got that option within that section too. And then lastly, we just created a more grounded footer and added another little piece of branding in there with your Fun Fox logo. So overall, I'm excited about this message, and hopefully you found these tips and tricks to be super useful. Once we save our newsletter, we can see it right here. This is the final product. I'm digging it. And hopefully these tips and tricks are going to be useful for you. You can take these best practices and incorporate them into your next design. So thanks so much. I hope you enjoyed this. Back to you, Kestrel.
Thank you so much, Catherine. That is a beautiful message. I love how all the different products pop with just enough color. It's a really lively and fun message. Really goes along with that animated GIF at the top. It looks great. All right, for everybody else, please feel free to send in your messages to critique@seguno.com. I've got that spelled out below. Please like, subscribe, comment, do all the things. We love hearing from you. We look forward to doing more of these. Let us know if you liked this one, and I will talk with you later.